question, Palestine or Israel?
Neither, brother.
Bro, free Palestine. Free Palestine.
I literally could give a fuck. I could give a fuck about Palestine or Israel. Is Palestine gonna help me mog or what? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think so. I don't care about anything that doesn't directly correlate with me mogging. Just to be straight up with you. That ain't gonna help me looksmax. That ain't gonna improve my zygomatic arches, okay? That's not gonna make my mid-face ratio ideal, whether or not I support Palestine, so I don't give a fuck.
Clavicular is what Oscar Wilde warned us about. Over 100 years ago, Wilde wrote a story about a man who became obsessed with beauty, not just appreciating it, but worshipping it. And today, that story is no longer fiction. It's live-streamed. Some people see Clavicular as self-improvement. Some people see him as entertainment. But if you look closely, he's something much more unsettling. He is a modern-day version of Dorian Gray. In Oscar Wilde's novel, Dorian Gray is a young man obsessed with his appearance. He wishes that he could stay young forever, and that a portrait of him would age instead. And it works. His face stays perfect while the painting becomes uglier with every sin. The more he chases pleasure, beauty, sensation, the more his true self decays hidden away. Now replace the portrait with a screen, replace the painting with a social media feed, and replace the hidden room with the internet. Clavicular is obsessed with becoming more attractive, not just improving, but optimizing. And like Dorian, there is no endpoint.
What's the point of it all? Like, what's the end goal of looksmaxxing?
Well, once again, there's no end goal to looksmaxxing.
What's
right?
the point? Like, what's the objective?
Well, the objective is to get better looking because that's going to allow for more opportunities, allow for better overall treatment. You know, just that subconscious bias in people that you're leveraging by, you know, becoming better and better looking is really worth all the effort that you put in.
That's not self-improvement. That's obsession. That's a system where the goal is not growth, but an endless refinement of the surface. And just like Dorian, morality becomes secondary. When asked about ethics, he says,
Necessarily care too much about like what I need to do to accomplish a result, if that's what you're asking.
That line alone could have been written by Wilde. Because in Dorian Gray, once beauty becomes the highest value, everything else becomes negotiable. Here's where it gets deeper. Dorian had a painting that absorbed his corruption. Clavicular has something else. His digital image, his live streams, his clips, his persona. This is his portrait. But unlike Dorian's paintings, this one doesn't hide.
In Oscar Wilde's novel, Dorian splits into two versions of himself: the perfect outer image and the corrupted inner reality. Clavicular does the same, but in real time. On screen, he shows control, confidence, even perfection. But off screen, or in glimpses, we see substance abuse, extreme procedures, dangerous behavior, at the cost of maintaining the image.
The online influencer known as Clavicular is in the hospital after what sources say was a suspected overdose. A live stream by the controversial looksmaxxing personality came to an abrupt end last night, just after his friends asked if he wanted water. Clavicular has admitted in a number of interviews that he uses crystal meth to suppress his appetite. Sources tell CBS News the 20-year-old, whose real name is Braden Peters, is in a Miami hospital.
Dorian keeps chasing new experiences because perfection is never enough. Clavicular says the same thing.
Like, I know that looksmaxxing is a pretty much never-ending process. Like, there's really no looks max that you could achieve. So just seeing like how far you can go, you know, what you can achieve is kind of my mentality.
There is no finish line. There is no satisfaction, only escalation. And this is where it stops being just about one person. Dorian didn't exist alone. He was shaped by influence, especially Lord Henry. Clavicular has something even more powerful: an audience. A system that rewards attention, extremity, and visibility. The more extreme the behavior, the more engagement he receives. Clavicular openly explains something Wilde hinted, the idea that beauty changes how people treat you.
Personality is correlated with your looks via the halo effect, right? So people are going to perceive your personality, your interests, your hobbies vastly different if you're good looking versus not. So it's, a direct correlation.
In the picture of Dorian Gray, this is exactly why Dorian gets away with everything. Because he looks perfect and society trusts beauty. But here's the difference between fiction and reality. Dorian's corruption was hidden, Clavicular's isn't. We watch it, we scroll past it, we engage with it. That's what makes it more disturbing. Clavicular isn't just Dorian Gray. He's what happens when everyone starts thinking like Dorian Gray. When your worth becomes all about your appearance, when identity becomes an image, when the self becomes something to edit, optimize, and perform. Wilde's warning wasn't about one man losing his soul. It was about a culture that mistakes beauty for value. And today, that culture isn't hiding in a novel. It's online, streaming, and going viral. If Dorian Gray were alive today, he wouldn't need a painting. He would just have a profile, just like Clavicular.
Start driving with this guy in the car. Drive.
Oh my god! You probably just ran him over. Oh my god. Oh my god. Off the car. He was on the car. Oh my god.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Hopefully.